AskReddit by Wendy 1. Fast food workers, what is your sir? This is a Wendy's moment? This is really weird that this became a meme, because I swear this is true. In about 95 I was driving from New England to Florida for a college spring break trip. Somewhere in South Carolina we stopped at a Wendy's near the hallway to the bathrooms. They had a big map of South Carolina and I said to the person, "Can you tell me where we are?" I was pretty clearly indicating the map. The lady said, "Honey, you in the Wendy's." I was like, "Thanks, okay. So no Big Macs?" "You don't have tables?" "Nope. I'll just have the General Chicken." "This is a Pizza Hut." "Fine, just a few egg rolls." "How about a pizza?" "Why would I order pizza at a Chinese restaurant?" "You're right, that would be stupid." My son is now 33. When he was a kid, he would force us to take him to an ethnic restaurant of his choice but always order pizza. No wonder psychiatrists keep busy. Reading through this thread is starting to convince me that dishwashing was actually the lucky position. I worked at a liquor store a few years back. One day a man walks in and puts 2 bottles of whiskey down, and as I'm scanning the bottles I make the usual small talk. "How's your night going?" The man took a deep breath and looked me in the eyes and says, "Well, I just walked in on my 14-year-old son completely naked video chatting a fucking middle-aged man, so it could be a lot better." I didn't quite know what to say, so I told him, "Oh, that's not good, enjoy your drinks." That is a completely adequate and fairly considerate response. Dude came to drive-thru. I opened the window. "Sir, how can I help you?" "I'm out our checks," he replies calmly. "Not sure I follow you," I say. "I'm out our checks," he says again more impatiently. "Right, I heard you but I don't know what you want me to do about it. You can pay with cash or card too." Dude gives me a weird look then says, "Oh, this ain't the bank," and peels out away from the window. I'm a pharmacist. Someone at that drive-thru is dealing. I used to work at Target and they hired a new girl, who had previously worked at Walmart, to work the fitting rooms and by default the intercom system. A few days after she started she was about to make an announcement over the intercom and I guess habit took over because she started the announcement with "Attention Walmart shoppers." She realized her mistake and made a good recovery with, "You are in the wrong store." She is a genius. That's the type of coworker that makes my life bearable. I was working at Brahms and this guy went on a whole rant about how Queen and all the bands from the 70s 80s are working with government to erase memories. All because he heard a lyric wrong. I just finished my very last Brahms shift earlier today. During that shift I had an elderly man call me a dumb millennial because I didn't pronounce a single caramel sundae with pecans the way he did. I'm 16. Y'all wouldn't believe the amount of disappointed rich people who come to Panda Express and find out we aren't serving authentic Chinese food. Once a well-traveled rich woman came into Panda Express and stood at the buffet line for about 10 minutes, critiquing our mistakes and explaining how Chinese cuisine doesn't actually have fried wontons with cream cheese filling. "Mom, we just fry what came in the bag from a warehouse in California. This isn't how real Italians make pizza." "Mom, you're at a fucking Chuck E. Cheese." Edit. Thanks for the award. Not fast food, but I was a hostess at Kiraba's. I answered the phone and a woman asked if we located at such and such intersection. I told her no, and gave her the correct directions. She insisted I was wrong and that we were located at such and such. I told her that I think she had us confused with another Italian restaurant chain, Johnny Carino's. She still disagreed and tried to argue. I finally just basically said that I am standing in the building that I work in 5 days a week. I'm pretty sure I know the location of my physical body and hung up. I worked at a pizza place and I got a complaint that we delivered sushi. It was a pepperoni pizza. But he could not be convinced. Drugs are a hell of a drug. I worked at a Chipotle for 4 years and got some pretty interesting requests. But I'll never forget the time someone ordered soup. Chipotle doesn't have soup. I promptly reminded her this was a Chipotle, but she insisted we could do it. So we made her soup at Chipotle. It was the grossest concoction of bean juice, sophronitis, mild, medium and hot salsa, and sour cream. She was stoked. Lady, you're too high. Deleted. I worked at the concession stand at a movie theater in high school. This guy orders a popcorn and large diet Pepsi. Comes back to the counter like 10 minutes later complaining that his soda is carbonated. I explained to him that all of our sodas are carbonated and he asks me if we had a microwave. We did, so he wants me go into the back and microwave his soda. He wants it warm but not too warm. Went to the back and had to pour the soda into 2 different cups because the original wouldn't fit into the microwave. Truly bizarre experience. I don't drink anything carbonated, but this is the first time I've heard that microwaving gets rid of the carbonated part. So is it just sugar water left? I worked at Dunkin' and one time a customer came through the drive-thru and complained to us that the drive-thru was built in a way that made it hard to drive. She started yelling at my co-workers, so I just put down what I was doing and told her, "Mom, we cannot change the construction of the building." Like seriously though, what did she want us to do? I just make sandwiches. Edit. Thank you for the award, strangers. I don't check Reddit that often, but it made my day. I work for an HVAC distributor. Of course during COVID production has been low, so we were out many important parts. Had so many people call me and yell at me saying they needed this tomorrow. Dude, do you honestly want me to make the thing? We don't have it. Fuck off. I worked at a bakery and it was not uncommon, about 10-12x year, for guys in their 30-40s to bring their dates in and place large imaginary orders. They'd look at the case and flip through some photos, then come up to the counter and be all gross schmoozy, rubbing up on their date like, "Baby, anything you want. You can't decide which flavor? Mom, put me down for 1 cake in each flavor. 1 whole cake. 1 donut, every flavor. Put a heart decoration on each one." After the first couple times we started pretending to write it on scratch paper and threw the paper away at the end of the night. They'd never schedule a time or date to pick up, and if you tried to take the order seriously and get details, they'd get rude as fuck, cause I guess yelling at employees was also seen as sexy in this scenario. It had to have been like one guy at a workplace who did it and told all his friends because it was so fucking weird and I've never heard of it being a thing elsewhere. So he was trying to impress her and ultimately she would say nah, that's okay, and the order would be cancelled. Is that it? Worked at Chick-fil-A for too many god-awful years. Guy walks in looking at his phone and says, "I'd like the fish sandwich combo." Cue confused blinking on my part, and then I finally ask, "What was that?" Dude looks up from his phone, sighs, and says, "I want the fish sandwich." Me. "So, this is Chick-fil-A. Literally all we have is chicken." He finally looked up at the menu behind me, then around at the restaurant completely bewildered, turned around and walked out. I don't know how he even drove there, parked, and walked in without noticing where he was. It's not that exciting, but in my town we have 2 KFCs. One of them is a joint KFC A and AMP W. I used to work at the standalone place and we would always have people try to order burgers, shakes, cheese curds and other A and AMP W products because they didn't realize that they're different restaurants. Wait, hold up. Your A and AMP W has cheese curds? Do they squeak? I am sensing Midwest here. Worked at a small roadside produce place. My boss had a few different stalls, so I was often left to run the store myself. I remember this lady walked up. "Do you have any tomatoes?" "Sorry, we don't, but the place down the street has them." "Then go there." But competitor has X is always my favorite, in any job ever. Why did you come here if there has it? Someone asked me what type of meat is on the grilled chicken sandwich. I responded muskrat. He didn't think it was very funny. I'll do this one day if I'm taking orders and have the chance to do so at the Wendy's I work at. I work at a Chili's, and when I was hosting, old people would constantly come in and talk about how weird it was that we redecorated so suddenly and where did the salad bar go. They thought we were Sizzlers, which was 2 buildings away from us. Happened at least 4 times. I also work there, and it amazes me that people make that mistake everywhere. I have people come in to pick up food and get incensed at the fact that we don't have their name on our list and we must have screwed up. Then I ask what is on their order and they rattle off food from the Outback, which is next door. They say nothing and walk out the door. Like I get making mistakes, but how do you miss a giant pepper on the side of the building expecting steaks with an Australian theme? Not a fast food worker, but I worked at a pharmacy and once had a doctor call in to ask if we do doctor's notes. The pharmacist carefully explained that this was a pharmacy, and that only doctor's offices can give out doctor's notes. We only receive prescriptions. The man said okay, then after a moment of hesitation, asked again, received a gentle but firm no. The pharmacist got angry and hung up on him after telling him no again. We received a call from him 3 more times. I picked up the last one, and answered, "This is not John Street, pharmacy. How can I help you?" He started out by asking if we were located on John Street. No. Then he asked if we do doctor's notes yet again. After a brief pause where I contemplated life, I just responded, "Sir, we're a pharmacy." He then proceeded to hang up on me. What a bastard. I worked in a Jimmy John's. A dude in a military uniform came in asking about a military discount. Told him we don't give military discounts, to which he proceeded to flip out, pull out his phone and start recording a video, ranting about how we won't give him his military discount like he deserves. The only times I've had that happen is when they can't produce a military ID. Coincidence? When I was really young and had recently tried fried calamari, I confused it with the fried clam strips at White Castle. I was adamant that they had fried calamari and convinced my dad to order it for me at the window. They laughed at him. Why the fuck does White Castle have fried clam strips? Deleted. Not exactly a fast food worker, but I do work in a restaurant and people can get Deliveroo Uber Eats from us. A couple times a week a driver will show up and show us their phone with an order for a 12-inch sub. Yeah mate, that's the Subway across the street. We're a pizzeria. Read the address. God knows how they find the customers' houses. Almost definitely the Subway has their address listed wrong. I deliver for Uber Eats and the GPS takes me to the weirdest places sometimes. Last time I had an order from a Mexican restaurant and the app wanted me to drive to Chuck E. Cheese's. It wasn't me involved, but I witnessed it. I worked at Burger King when I was a teenager. We are short-staffed one day, and the girl on the drive-thru was on break, so our manager stepped in to cover her. He was pretty old and didn't have the best hearing, so most customers were pulling around to the window to talk to him as he was struggling to hear through the headset. Anyway, this one guy rolls up to the window and shouts, "I want a large Big Mac meal with a Coke please." Is that so damn hard? My manager very calmly says, "My apologies sir, that won't be difficult." He leans out of the window and points down the road. There's a McDonald's about 3 miles in that direction. They'll be able to help. Have a nice day sir. Then he just closes the window and walks around the corner out of sight. I laughed so hard. That's a fucking power move right there, Mayo. Back when I was in fast food, I had someone who wanted me to remove all the sesame seeds from the top of a bun. The answer was no. Edit. Some people have discovered the solution. We went with 2 bottom buns. Also our solution for anyone with an allergy, etc. The crazy part wasn't wanting to avoid sesame, it was requesting a top bun with the sesame removed by hand. Should have just given them 2 bottom halves. Then it also solves the problem of when another customer comes in and asks for seeds on the bottom. When I worked at a gay bar, someone came in and had a sour look on his face for a while. Eventually he asked when the female go-go dancers were coming out. Back when I worked at Burger King years ago, we always used to get people coming in and ordering Big Macs and other stuff from McDonald's. The cashiers just said screw it and put in orders for Whoppers or whatever the closest parallel was for whatever they ordered. There were even a few conversion charts near the cash registers just so we could save ourselves a headache of figuring out what to put in. It's stupid, but nobody really complained about the food they got, so I guess that's a win. The downside was that quite a few guys also treated the place as a place to try and pick up dates when female cashiers were around. So, yeah, that went over poorly thanks to management. Big Mac equals burger to some people. They don't care what you call it. Deleted. Nothing erodes faith in humanity like working retail and spending too much time on the internet. Not fast food, but in the hospital. I had a patient throw her hospital toothbrush at me because it wasn't up to her standards and demand to be transferred to a better room with better service. Mom, this is a hospital, not the Marriott. We were super happy to offer her the form to leave AMA to aid in her quest for better rooms and better service. Let us know what ya find, lady. Edit. Oh my gosh, thank you for the awards. I love almost all of my patients and will appreciate all the support we can get for healthcare reform in the US that will direct your healthcare dollars back to your care and help us have better patient ratios and more time to spend with each patient. Zoxo. I often have this same experience. Get me a couple washcloths, and not ones that are all thin and worn out, buddy, they're all the same. We don't keep the good washcloths hidden away for people with better insurance. No crazies, but I ran the grill at McDonald's in the 80s. I got a ticket once, to cook a quarter pounder well done. I did it, felt like a chef. Also, this regular would order a plain cheeseburger with no salt every time. Yep, I can do that too. I have a coworker who orders high Burger King burgers medium well. They never do it. I don't even know how they would with that flame broiler contraption. He keeps ordering them that way, though. I'm honestly not sure if he's trying to screw with the BK workers, or if he thinks he's getting medium well burgers. My mom once asked for Arby's sauce at Burger King. She doesn't even go to Arby's. Semi-related, folks in the Taco Bell drive-thru asked, I shit you not, every day, how much are the dollar grillers? Every fucking day. Maybe they're from areas like I'm from where everything costs more, but they still call it things like the $1 menu. That'll be $1.79. I was the manager at an overnight shift at a burger place. Drunks were always trying to order pizza and other dumb stuff. One night a guy insisted he wanted a pizza, so I said alright, but it will be $100 and take like an hour. We was like cool, came around and gave me $100 at the window. There was 4 of us there, so I told the dude to park, sent a worker to the grocery store across the parking lot to buy a Red Baron, brought it back, cooked it in our oven, took out to the dude who had fallen asleep in his car. The 4 of us split the off of $95. I knew a dude in high school who would order pizza at non-pizza places. He did it at D'Angelo's, a sub-shop chain. The woman just looks at him and goes, order something off the menu. Anyways, that guy's a lawyer now. I had a guy make a scene because we didn't carry fries or burgers at Subway. He got made and walked out. Having a man try to order a Mexican pizza in the Wendy's drive-thru and arguing with me that we've always had it. So, this is a Wendy's. A friend of mine got into an argument with some lady because she didn't understand that a cheeseburger with no cheese is just called a hamburger. Not exactly what you asked, but it's the only one I got. I work at an ice cream shop and a lot of people come to the window and ask stupid things. One lady had the audacity to call us and ask if we had ramen noodles. Does the word ice cream in the name of our shop give any hints to you? Some other guy also asked if we had pizza. Really? You'll sell cigarettes? Ma'am, this is a Dairy Queen. I work in a small town grocery store. Not fast food but still retail. Once when I was first starting out at the store, a stereotypical neckbeard walked in the store and asked if we sold dildos. I kid you not. I told him that we were a family-friendly grocery store and didn't carry those items. He ended up just buying Hot Pockets and ice cream. I wouldn't be able to stop myself from saying, if you're brave enough we do. BK manager here. Have had a cracked out conspiracy theorist tell me coronavirus is an invention of Walmart and Amazon to sell medical masks because medical masks didn't exist before all this. Also same job, I've seen a dude get jacked off by his girlfriend in the drive-thru and a mall Santa who lived at his car that had a blanket and pillow in the backseat along with like 30 empty whiskey bottles. I work at a cafe, and cafes are understandably somewhere in between fast food and restaurant quality, but however, as I'm sure most of you will know, it's pretty basic stuff, not too fancy. But let me tell you, the amount of times we have people coming into the cafe and expecting 5-star restaurant, full Michelin, Met Gala quality service is uncountable. It's like these people are wannabe restaurant connoisseurs. If you are going to a cafe, you kind of have to accept the quality of service you get. It's not fine dining on some penthouse floor restaurant in Manhattan. Chip a few blocks of your enormous ego, mate, or you're gonna be horrifically disappointed every time you go to a cafe. I work at a legal cannabis store. We always have people asking if we sell alcohol, but sometimes we're asked for more fun stuff like shrooms or heroin. Hey, do y'all got any of that legal heroin? A customer asked for ice cream. I looked at my coworker and we gave each a WTF look. I asked him to repeat his order and he asked for ice cream again until I had to say, "Sir, this is Tim Hortons. We don't sell ice cream." I'm pretty sure he was high. To be fair, my Tim Hortons has a Cold Stone Creamery in it. My mom once pulled into a McDonald's drive-thru thinking it was the Tim Hortons next door. She was extremely confused when the drive-thru attendant welcomed her to McDonald's and then just sheepishly drove away. The Canadian version of throwing a fit in public. Not a fast food worker, but I once had a patient accuse me of fucking up her dental filling. I am an optician, not a dentist. Well then, they were probably right. You sound very unqualified to have given a dental filling. You probably screwed up. Oh, it wasn't exactly a Wendy's level restaurant, but not fancy either. But one guy came in just to tell me and my coworker about how he recently started doing crack and is having fun doing it all the time now. Not a fast food worker, but I went to Tim's once before work and asked the drive-thru worker for an Egg McMuffin. She didn't even bother correcting me and said, "Okay, so one English muffin. Anything else?" Pretty sure she knew I was just dumb and forgot it was called an English muffin. An educated man, by his account, would often come into the burger joint to get a cheap coffee and sometimes a breakfast sandwich. He would rant about men of reverence and power who would interact with him because he was smart or skilled or something. He smelled homeless. His truck had unidentifiable rubbish in the back. In the cab, he could only fit himself. Saw him parked at the Walmart across the street, more than once. It wasn't just the stories he told me. It was the conviction and ferocity that made it even more surreal. "Here's your coffee, sir." Looks past him. Next,